Peace, family. Welcome back to Discipline to Keys. I'm Keen Singh, and this is educational content only, not financial advice. Please do your own independent research. Now, there's a fear. There's a fear that many carry silently. It's the fear of losing what little they have, what they've worked so hard for. So they hold tightly to their cash. They don't invest, they just wait. And it feels responsible. It feels responsible because it feels safe. But history and truth tells us otherwise. You see, cash does not protect you. Cash actually guarantees loss. Now, not all at once, okay? Not loudly either, but slowly, it guarantees you that loss through inflation. You see, every year prices rise and your cash buys less. Now, that's not safety, that's erosion. So, in let's look at history. I always want you to have the facts, to look at history so you can know where we're headed. In 1971, when the US came off of the gold standard, most families they didn't panic because they trusted the system. They held their cash tightly and they waited. Mhm. But something was changing quietly and they weren't paying attention. You see, what happened was money stopped being a store of value. Remember, before 1971, gold was what backed the dollar. Now, keeping in mind, no matter where you are in this world, listen to this. The dollar does affect you because it's the world reserve currency. But in 1971, under Nixon, the dollar came off of the gold standard, so it was no longer backed by gold. So this dollar that was once a storehouse of value was no longer such, and it became a promise that was backed by confidence. A promise backed by confidence. So Golden, meanwhile, did what it always does when trust breaks. You've been here long enough to know what gold does when trust breaks. I want someone to comment for me. What does gold do when trust breaks? I'm waiting. Yes. It preserves purchasing power. Yes. It goes higher and higher the more trust breaks in the system. Gold goes higher. And it's going higher because it's preserving purchasing power. So those who understood this, they weren't chasing profits. What they were chasing, and let's not say chasing, what they were practicing is stewardship. You see, that period wasn't random. In 1970, we were marked by deep shifts tied to value, trust, and power. Old agreements dissolved, systems were exposed, and money had to be redefined. And today, between 2025 to 2027, we in our generation, we're under the similar we're under similar pressure. The same way value, trust, power, and money was being redefined in 1970, we are seeing it be redefined right before our eyes. A different world, different tools, but understand that it's the same team. The stress is on the system, and currencies and control is all still factored in. And not because something random out there caused it, but because human behavior repeats. Human behavior repeats when trust is stretched. And think about it. Our parents would have been babies in 1970. And over their generation, they would have surely seen that The money system is built on trust and is being stretched. So now it comes a point in time where that that now is being broken and a shift is upon us. So right now people are doing exactly what families did back then. They're holding cash, but they're holding out of fear. They're waiting for clarity and they're avoiding discomfort. You know what that discomfort is? Change. They're avoiding change because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. But fear doesn't preserve wealth. It freezes it if it does anything. It freezes it until inflation finishes the job. Now, you know what inflation is. You've been here long enough to know what inflation is. You know that the price you pay for your iced latte today ain't gonna be the price you're gonna pay next. So, yes, I know you enjoy those iced lattes, but the price you pay today ain't gonna be the price you pay tomorrow, and it most certainly will not be the price you pay at the end of this decade. Inflation is set to rise far higher than it is right now. Now let's get into Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 2, where it tells us to invest in seven. Invest in seven ventures, yes, invest in eight. For you do not know when disaster will come upon your land. Now, that's not speaking about investing recklessly. That's wisdom. It teaches us in that scripture about diversification, to diverse our portfolio. It teaches us movement, it teaches us stewardship. It doesn't tell us to hold on to our cash and don't ever invest, nor does it tell us to invest it all in one place. It tells us to diversify. So those who own are the ones who survive, but those who only hold, they eventually die. You see, owners own assets, and assets increase in value when systems break. Money is not meant to be idolized. By no means it should be hoarded either. Money is a tool to be used. And tools that are unused only build they build nothing but losses. Gold, on the other hand, isn't about getting rich quick. It's about preserving your labor, and it has been used to preserve labor across time. It's about saying what I worked for will still matter for my children and my children's children. And that, my friends, that is stewardship. Now, I can look back and say, if my grandmother had bought gold decades ago, our family would have benefited significantly, but that's hindsight. What matters now is that one day my grandchildren may look back and ask, what did they do when the signs were there? And the question won't be, did you predict the market perfectly? No, it would not. It will be, did you understand that holding cash was not actually safety? Now, I'm not saying not to have an emergency savings, I'm not saying not to save, but that cannot be your only means of surviving. Your money is here to work for you. Put your money to work for you. Have your savings, but don't only depend on that savings because you have to understand that that savings is eroding yearly. Have your emergency savings. Have a savings that allows you to invest in opportunities once they present themselves, and invest in a manner in which you're able to have a diverse portfolio. Today, gold might be up. In 2 years, it might be down, and it might be Bitcoin that's up, or it might be land that's up, or energy that's up. Everything moves in cycles. Understand the cycles and have a diverse portfolio. And I'm saying this to say because the fear of losing money is what truly keeps people broke. It's not that they don't want to work or they don't work hard enough. It's the fear of losing that keeps them broke. And they're not being foolish. They're not being foolish for holding on to their money. I'm saying that because I know they were taught survival. They were never taught stewardship. And this season isn't about panic. This season is about positioning. Cash is a cash is a moment. It's just a moment. The cash that you get is just a moment, but assets is the memory. It's what lasts throughout time. And those who learn to store value and not cling to currency are the ones who build legacies that last. Now, for me, this is important because I know that I don't want my grandchildren to start over from scratch. I want them to know the value, how money works, what it is, to understand it, and most importantly, to understand stewardship. Will you understand stewardship?